hearing right now that you people are listening to, if you have to translate a song, it's not a good song. When you have to turn to your neighbor and say, what did that whole part say? It's not a good song. It's not. I don't want to do the math to listen to your song. And what I'm saying is I'm old and there's too many words and it goes too fast. How are we doing out there? We still got a line out there? Is there still a line at the bathrooms? Still a lot of people out there? Because I know there's too many ADD people in here, and as people come in to sit down, all the ADD people go, shiny thing in the room, and you won't listen. I know, because I'm ADD. Anybody got the extra initial, the ADHD? Anybody? Yeah. All right. We are ADD in HD. I am high def ADD, baby. That's who I am. I have the attention span of a gnat. I am Dory. Group leaders, look around. You got your most of your group with you? You missing a lot? Group leaders, give me hands up if your group's here. If your whole group's here. Ish. We okay? Ish. We got a couple of ishes. Missing 3, missing 4, missing 2. All right. When you started talking about who you are, you actually started talking about what you do or what you like or what your family is. See, our identities are tied to the following things. Now, those of you that are blank filler-inners, understand that the blanks will be filled in up there. I am not a blank filler-inner. I will say this to your group leaders, and always the staff here gets mad at me, but even Roger, I tell him, my job is to cover the material, right? And your job, leaders, is to cover the material. Sometimes covering the material means this. Cover the material. Cover it, and speak to your students instead. Is that cool? But I'm going to cover the material, and we're going to fill in the blanks. You'll see them up there if you're blank filler-inners and you feel like you're freaking out if you don't have a blank. I'll cover the material. But we're going to talk about our identity. You talked about what you do or your likes and dislikes or what your identity is right now when you introduced yourself. Some of the ways that we talk about our identity, that we get our identity, who we are. And I love middle school because right now you're deciding who you are. Right now, you're making the first decisions because when you were in elementary school, you were just an extension of your parents. Have you noticed that you're getting in more trouble than you ever have? That you're arguing with your parents more than you ever did before? But when you were in elementary school, you didn't argue with your parents that much because you believed everything they said. There was Santa. That was like last year, right? You're like, stop it, this is not a Santa. Listen, no, I'm saying, but you were just them. You believed what they believed. You went to the church that they went to. You got your identity from them. That's who you were. But now in middle school, you're starting to, great-grandfather was a war hero. Our family name is our identity. Like anybody grew up in a small town? Yeah. I grew up in a small town in Florida. In my whole county, we were the Gambrels on my father's side. They owned half the county. My grandfather used to say, son, you're a Gambrel. Act like it. On my mother's side, we were the Flowers family. Flowers. Horace and Minnie Mae Flowers were my grandparents. Horace was 5'6". Minnie, his wife, was 6'1". Minnie. I know, she just went, Minnie? How appropriate. Minnie Mae Flowers was her name. I asked Granddad, I said, why did you marry such a tall woman, Granddad? He said she was worth the climb. Isn't that cute and creepy at the same time? But on that side of the family, I mean, I am one generation away from white trash and real proud of it. I really am on that side. Love it. On the Gambrell side, he would say, you're a Gambrell, act like it. And it gave me my identity in the entire county. And I was like, you want me to act like it, Granddaddy? You mean hide all my secrets? Because I know all the Gambrell secrets. They're so crooked, we're going to screw them in the ground when they die. Every one of them. We have a reputation. But it gave me my identity. Anybody got that going on? Your family name or your connections to somebody famous. It gives you your identity. It settles us into who we are in many ways, whether it's negative or positive. Some of us have a real negative past history in our family, and that kind of comes down on us. You've had nothing but losers in your family that were dads and were granddads. I love the new one now. What do? I play soccer. I play the real football. I love soccer players, and they all get into knowing the names of all these players on teams that you don't care about. And they bore you to death with small YouTube videos of another guy kicking a ball into a net. I'm sorry that that's your identity. But that becomes their identity. I have some friends of mine, and they take me to soccer games, and it's their whole identity, and they're so excited about it. I call soccer should be called, because that's what it is for 4 hours. And then they run back down the other side. Day 3, score still 1-1. But that's your identity. I'm a soccer player. Do you see it? Or I'm the smart person. I'm the funny guy. We get our identity from what we do. We get our identity from our activities or our achievements. We get our identity from our achievements. I'm a scholar. I'm on the dean's list. Or our bad achievements. I have a friend of mine, to this day, 30 years ago, he was in prison. 30 years ago. And yet he introduces himself as an ex-con. That's his identity still? Have you done anything since? This guy's accomplished so much in his life, but he has this negative feeling about his identity because he's an ex-con. Do you see how your identity can be placed on what you've achieved or not achieved? I'm sorry, I'm going to go really deep with you. I'm not going to treat you like elementary school students. I find that most teachers today speak to middle schoolers way under your heads, and I refuse to do that. You're in a world right now that's spinning out of control, and you have to take over in just a few years. And I'm not going to